All right, welcome everybody to our February City of Franklin Municipal Planning Commission meeting. Thanks for being here. Sorry we're running a little bit late starting. I'll start with the minutes for our January meeting. Do I have a motion for approval?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Will Ms. Peterson moved? Scott seconded. Harrison, Mr. Harrison? All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, if there's items that are not on tonight's agenda and you want to speak to the commission, if you'll please come forward. All right, see none, then staff, any announcements?
I just have one announcement. Over the next 3 to 4 weeks, you'll be receiving some correspondence from me. We are switching our agenda software with the city. And so the current use of your iPad and the app will not be the system we use anymore. We have purchased new devices for all the planning commissioners, and we'll be rolling those out kind of mid to late March. And at the March Joint Conceptual Workshop meeting, there will be a training led by Angie in our administration department. So we'll be getting more information to you in March, but I just want to let you know that is coming.
Okay, excellent, thank you. All right, is there anyone that wants to place an item on the agenda that's not currently on our agenda tonight? All right, for our consent agenda tonight, these are items that are considered non-controversial. We'll vote on in one motion. Those items tonight are items 4 through 9. If anybody in the audience, staff, or commission wants to pull an item from the consent agenda, please let me know. So we do have, do we have an initial and a secondary? Or just one consent? Okay. All right, I see none, then I will entertain a motion for the consent agenda.
Move for approval.
Second.
Wow. Y'all do that again.
In unison.
Kidding. All right. We'll let Marcia do the motion. Who seconded?
Mike.
Okay, Mike seconded. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. All right, item number 2 then is our first non-consent consideration resolution 2020-07, a resolution amending the Aspen Grove PUD subdivision, Section O, Lot 4, site plan to extend the vested rights for the property located at the intersection of Cool Springs Boulevard and Windcross Court. Staff?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The applicant is requesting an extension of the vesting period for the site plan associated with the Aspen Grove PUD subdivision, Section O, Lot 4. The site plan was originally approved on the March 2017 administrative agenda. In terms of vesting, this site plan is considered the preliminary development document as it was not associated with an overall development plan. Therefore, it has been vested for 3 years or until March 2020. In order to retain its vesting, the development must also record a final plat and commence site preparation and construction. The applicant has not completed these requirements and is therefore requesting an extension for 3 years to complete these outstanding items. They are not requesting an extension to their overall 10-year vesting period. The project will still maintain a maximum vesting period of 10 years from the original approval date. This site is particularly challenging due to the access easement required across this property extending to the west. This site plan, as it was approved, identified the appropriate location for the cross-access easement as agreed upon by both the property owner and the adjacent property owners. Maintaining this agreed-upon location is considered important to staff to ensure that the cross-connectivity to the traffic light at Windcross Court can be maintained for the properties on the north side of Cool Springs Boulevard. Under the zoning ordinance in which the site plan is vested under, the request for site plan extension for this type of vested plan falls to the Planning Commission for review and approval, not the Board of Mayor and Aldermen. Staff does recommend approval. Thank you.
All right, is there anyone in the audience other than the applicant that wants to speak on this item? All right, if someone representing the applicant would come forward.
Good evening. My name is Eric Powers. I'm
represent the ownership team for this particular property.
Okay. Anything you want to add to the request?
No, I think Amy covered it pretty well.
Okay, great. All right, then I will entertain a motion.
Move for approval.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Did you get that second, Elaine? Okay. Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Item number 3, consideration of Resolution 2019-111, a resolution approving a development plan for Downs Boulevard, PUD subdivision with 2 modification of development standards for the property located north of Downs Boulevard and west of Columbia Avenue. Staff?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The applicant has submitted a development plan for the construction of a fueling station for the property located at 1536 Columbia Avenue. The property is zoned Plan District and is located in the neighborhood mixed-use design concept as defined by the Envision Franklin Land Use Plan. Additionally, the parcel is located in the Columbia Avenue Overlay Special Area 3, which has additional regulations to create a more pedestrian-oriented commercial node that serves adjacent residential neighborhoods. The proposed layout of placing the retail component at the rear of the property and the fuel canopy at the front along Columbia Avenue does not meet the recommendations of Envision Franklin or the Columbia Avenue Overlay District standards in the zoning ordinance, as this design is structured more for vehicular rather than pedestrian traffic. There are 2 modification of standards requests with this plan. As a reminder, this plan was submitted last year and is therefore reviewed under the previous zoning ordinance, not the new current one. First, modification request, applicant is requesting to locate the canopy along Columbia Avenue with the retail component located on the side of the property. Section 4.1.63A of the previous zoning ordinance states canopies shall not be freestanding or attached to an accessory structure unless located to the rear of the principal structure. The proposed location of the canopy at the front of the property along Columbia Avenue does not meet the regulations or the design intent of the zoning ordinance. Staff recommends denial of the first modification of standards request. For the second modification, the applicant is requesting a drive-through use component as part of the development plan for this property. Section 3.4.7 FG2 of the previous zoning ordinance prohibits the use of drive-throughs in this location. To quote, drive-through uses are prohibited on properties north of Downs Boulevard to create a pedestrian-oriented node. The subject property is located on the north side of Downs Boulevard within CA03. Since the proposed site layout and specifically the drive-through does not align with the design intent of Envision Franklin's neighborhood mixed-use design concept or the Columbia Avenue Overlay District in this location, staff recommends denial of the second modification of standards request. For these reasons, staff recommends disapproval of the development plan. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Is there anyone from the audience who wants to speak to this other than the applicant? Okay, is there someone representing the applicant? If you'll come forward.
Good evening. I'm Mark Spalding with Gresham Smith, and here to represent the project. We've got representatives from the ownership as well as the architect. If there's any questions. There are 2 modification of standards that we're requesting. If we can pull up, the layout currently shows the canopy in front of the building, and the reason that we went ahead and showed it this way is the drainage across this lot actually drains toward Columbia Avenue. So we will need a stormwater management basin close to Columbia Avenue. So in doing that, we would create a bigger green space and push it away from Columbia Avenue, along with some additional landscaping. And we thought that that might be a viable alternative, similar to what you might see at the Carruthers Twice Daily store. Regarding the drive-through, typically a drive-through will be much closer to a roadway than it is here. We're over 100 feet away from Downs Boulevard. Again, same kind of deal. We've got plenty of landscaping, plenty of distance There'll be parked cars, a lot of landscaping between Downs Boulevard and the building. So we had hoped that we could gain your favorable approval tonight.
All right, thank you. Do I have a motion?
I move for approval.
Second.
Okay. Alma moved and Jimmy seconded. All right,
Taboma.
yes. Any discussion?
Generally, as you guys know, I generally always vote with staff, go along with staff recommendations. But for this location, I drive past this just about every day, normally 2 or 3 times a day. But for this location and for this use, in this particular piece of property, I actually think that putting the pumps at the front will probably be the best place for it. So I'm actually going to vote against staff, and I very rarely do that, but I thought I needed to say why. But for this particular location, I think that having the pumps there in front is the right for this particular piece of property. So I will be supporting, actually voting against staff on that.
All right, any other discussion?
Yeah, I'll just say for this use, especially being a gas station and it caters to cars, it's very car-centric. And so that I would see that a drive-through in this case is kind of complements its car-centric service that it already provides.
Okay, any other comments?
Are we going to have motions
The
on
mo-
the?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
We
Yeah,
got
yeah.
modifications
We
as
can-
well. So,
Oh, I already talked about that.
Yeah.
yeah, I was fixing.
Well, let's do that. We'll start with modification standard number 1. That's a request to locate the canopy along Columbia Avenue. Do I have a motion about
Yes, move for
that?
approval.
Second.
Okay, moved and seconded. Any discussion about that modification standard? All right, so we're amending the main motion with modification standard number 1. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Okay. Modification standard number 2 was to allow for the drive-through as presented. Do I have a motion?
Move for approval.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. So we're back to the main motion that's amended with 2 modification standards. Any other discussion? All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Any other business?
Thank you.
No? Come on, Jimmy, something.
We're
All right.
back next week with drainage complaints.
All right, then I will entertain a motion for adjournment.
So moved. Second.
All in favor, say aye. We are adjourned.